some commercial dancing. Yeah,
wow.
very like if y'all like to see highlights, you'll see them.
Yeah.
They got them.
Before it was very like emotionally vulnerable, and now we're like just letting our body thrash and like really feeling. Yeah.
See, I kind of like took it upon from her, and I was like, I see you as this shy person, but you are so powerful, and like when you truly get to know her, like this girl is the girl, you know. Bringing joy into today's political climate change was very important to me because we are pushed to being basically stabbed in the back every day, and it's not something that we deserve. We basically want everybody to come to the club with us after the show. Like, get up your seats and let's dance.
And engage.
Let's dance.
To the bus.
Vamos a bailar.
Welcome to Dancing in the District. My name is Manuel Cuellar, Associate Professor of Latin American and Latinx Studies at the George Washington University. And today, I'm speaking with Angel Ramirez and members of Angel Ram Dance. Angel Ramirez is originally from El Salvador. He's a choreographer and dance movement artist here in the DMV area. And today we're talking about your second evening-length show, Vamos a Bailar. Vamos a bailar? So, Angel, tell me a little bit about this show. How would you describe it to our audience?
A little bit about the show. I would describe it as a party piece that brings us all together. So this piece focuses on how it's important for the community to stay together in times like today. We go from what it means to meet new people and what it means to hang out with your friends and discover new friendships of all different identities, and that takes us into a hangout, and then from there we're going into the club.
Wonderful. So do you want to introduce the dancers that we're going to the club with?
Yes, ¿con quién vamos a bailar? So we have Elvis, and then Morgan, and Kelsey.
Great. Welcome. So please share with us what it's been like to be part of this journey, this choreographic journey with Angel. I understand that this piece is 1 hour long, so it's not multiple pieces, it's just one whole hour, no intermissions, correct? So what has been like for you to be part of this journey of this salida, these night outs?
Yeah, it's my first time with Angel as a choreographer, so I'm very excited to get started and be a part of this process. Angel is so incredibly organized. I really enjoy that as a dancer, knowing what is coming next and how here are the moves, you can interpret it how you want, you bring your own character to it. I think we're all kind of in this journey of knowing who we are and what we can bring. But to be able to have that freedom of you can bring your own identity and the parts of yourself to this process is so liberating and a part of the message of the piece, that we get such freedom to explore parts of who we are.
That's wonderful. And Morgan, I understand you performed with Angel before for this other piece called Café con Pan, right? That it was also a group piece and a collaboration with Tabata. So what is it like for you to be part of this new work?
Yeah, so I think they're incredibly different.
How so? Tell us for those of us who don't know.
Yeah, so Tabby and Angel had created this work. It touched on very sensitive subjects of losing someone and representing that the celebration of their life, but also the longing to be with them still. So I think like we're now just like celebrating each other and like finding connections in this tough life that we're all living, and like just exploring different relationships and going out and like adjusting to that that lifestyle, and also just surrendering to the process with Angel has been beautiful. Like, it's tough work. Everything that we're doing is very physically challenging, and I think that's a huge difference between this and Cafe Compan. Before it was very like emotionally vulnerable, and now we're like just letting our body thrash and like really feeling feeling all the ways it can move. And yeah.
Great. And for you, Elvis, you did a duet with Angel as part of the Latinx Movement Festival, correct? What If I Never Saw You Again? And then it was part of this other previous um, evening length work, Where I Belong, that premiered last year. So now you've been part of, like, you've been collaborating with Angel for a little bit, so in different contexts. So what can you say about that experience?
Yes. Well, I started working with Angel. Well, something fun. I met Angel in an audition. So he was
Oh.
doing the audition. I was doing the audition as well. And he came to me. And he told me like, wow, do you want to be in the piece? Or do you want to work with me? So we start with Niño Perdido, or Lost Boy. So that was the first piece that I worked for Angel. And after that, we start creating this duet. And it was What If I Never Saw You Again? And now in this piece, well, definitely going from, like from the first piece to this one, I can see like how Angel is being growing with his, like way to choreograph, but also I seen myself growing with him at the same time. So it's really nice because he's giving me opportunities to keep pushing my artistry. What can I say about this piece? Definitely very challenged physically. Every time it's something new, even if you know how to move in a certain way. And then he just came with this movement that is like, oh, wow, it's so new. But I appreciate it because it's not just going and do a step. It's just a creative process all the time. And he always is really honest with his movement, and also he's really gentle with our bodies as well. Like if we cannot do something, he's always like, okay, let's change this, or probably it's not gonna show in the first rehearsal, but if, like personally, I'm the person that I need to do it like multiple times to make it work. So I appreciate that opportunity to work, like even something, okay, this is challenge, but I can push and get there. So it's a little bit of that with Angel, and it's really nice. It's fun. We laugh, we have fun, but at the same time, you are working really hard. So how those things connect together, it makes you feel like, wow, I'm working so hard, but at the same time, I feel like I'm having fun. So even sometimes you question and doubt, is this possible? Because, like sometimes, or it's just having fun or just not having fun. But when those things mix together, it just create a nice environment. And I think it's something that we appreciated, I think, so.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Nicely put. Angel, okay, now it's your turn. What has it been like for you to choreograph your own solo pieces? I'm thinking here of Niño Joto, for instance, that I had the privilege to witness and to experience, but also, and then the duet with Elvis or with Tabata, and then the group choreography like Café con Pan, right? And now this, evening length piece. Vamos a bailar. So tell us, share with us, what are the challenges? What's rewarding about that?
Okay. I think all three different aspects, solo duets and collaborative work with other dancers, come with a challenge, but also a reward. It's definitely challenging working as a solo. Definitely thinking of how can I be creative and not bore the audience for a whole 8 minutes. It's a challenge, and coming up with a story that makes sense. So it's a challenge, but it's very rewarding in the sense that I get to really explore what I truly want to put out there without having someone else interpret it. It's more like coming from what I want to say. And working with duets, it's a little bit more challenging because we have to accommodate into being there for each other and making sure that we're both supporting each other as much as we can. So I think most of my duets, I've had a duet with Gabriel and Tavi, and both of them have been a way of learning for me in the sense that I have to learn I can be supportive for the other and how I can also bring my own ideas into the table to make sure that we're both creating something meaningful and special. Working now with so many dancers, so many
How many are
dancers.
you working with?
It's 18 dancers. It's definitely, it's so exciting to see my ideas come to life, and also working with dancers like them. It's so cool. Like I teach something and they're like, done, got it. What else do you need? So working with more experienced dancers gives me the ability to truly interpret my work in a way that before I was working solo work, I didn't know. I was like, I don't know what my movement is. I don't know how to teach it to other people. But now seeing it, I'm like, whoa, it actually does something. And it's also a time to cultivate friendships, which is really important to me. I think I like working, but I don't like working. So I think something that Elvis touched on was like how we try to have an atmosphere of just like a hangout versus like work. I think that's very important to me. I'm already stressed as it is, and the piece comes from being so stressed and like trying to get away from that. So even showing up to rehearsal, I'm like, okay, I cannot be this mean like bitch, who's like just like gonna tell you like, let's do this, and then you have one water break, and then we're done. Like, no, like I'm gonna leave more space for freedom, and whatever happens will happen, and something good will come out in the end. I'm working with such talented dancers, so it's definitely different in all different aspects, but all of them are very rewarding, and I love that I'm learning a lot from all different three.
If we were, well, if I were to ask you about the style of this piece, how would you describe it? Or what kind of different styles do we get to showcase?
It's very
Can I not hear from you?
see, I would say it's very different. It's a challenge for me because I've never created a very upbeat piece. It's heavily inspired by Niño Joto, definitely, in the sense of...
Can you describe briefly what Niño Joto is about? I'm sorry, I
Yes,
didn't.
so Niño Joto is basically an exploration of my identity as a young person and how I technically got bullied for coming out as not coming out, but for being me. And so it was an exploration in like how I got through that by, just basically glamifying myself and being the person I am and not caring about anybody things. And so this piece is in a parallel way, it kind of it's like a party piece in the sense that we're exploring queerness and friendships and communities, and so Vamos a Bailar, the movement, is a mixture of so many different genres, I would say. Very contemporary to its core, but we have salsa, we have some merengue, we have partnering, we have contemporary floor work, we have some contemporary phrase work, some partnering. I already said that, huh? Like some commercial dancing,
wow.
very like if y'all like to see highlights, you'll see them. They got them, and a lot of different, like tight, honestly, like tight work. Think like because we're thinking how can we move small sometimes because we're at the club.
Yes.
So a lot of sensual movement, a lot of different like I don't know. I'll let them tell you their experience, but I feel that it's very versatile. I think you really get to see a mix of everything. I think a big part of it, I wanted to highlight my style, and my style is mainly like contemporary floor work, but also sometimes I have a mix of salsa and contemporary salsa. So it's a big mixture of that.
Well, that sounds amazing. Tell me what it's like for you in terms of when you get together and have rehearsal and go through these different movement vocabularies and experiences. And yes,
Well, let's see. Challenge, I think I say that already, but like the music, especially in the second act, it's very upbeat. So, like, everything has counts. So to me, that's the biggest challenge. And I mean, I love it because there's a lot of ensemble sections, so we need to go together. Or so like, like if you don't have the counts, you're just in other
It's going to
universe.
show.
Yeah, it's going to show. So
Not this show. I'm just kidding.
not this show, but yes. So no, definitely that it's a challenge. Also, I feel like this piece is looking this personal like identity or personality. For example, like every time that I go to a process, I try to see what is going on around me. So like I just think I'm around of so many talent people, dancers, different ways to move. So I want to catch that for myself. So, for example, Kelsey is really good connecting with the people. Like her faces is such a mature thing that I'm like, I want it. I want that because you just don't see someone doing movement. It's someone enjoying and dancing. So to me, it's a really mature thing. So yeah, no, it's really true. So it's like I wanna keep that on me. So it's not just like, okay, I need to do this challenge movement in the floor, do 4 spins, and then like, yeah, and then like tuck your leg and like finish in this position. So and also how is my face look?
expressing, yeah.
Expressing. So yeah, it's definitely a challenge, but it's so rich to feel like wow, go to home tired and go see your videos because like he all the time, we always have videos after rehearsal, so it's a good moment to go review. But it's also really nice to see yourself. It's like, wow, like look what we are doing, like how I get there. Like even if you're doubting sometimes, like, oh, I'm maybe, I don't know, it's not good enough, or all this fears inside. But then you see the videos and it's like, wow, it's
You did that.
exactly. So it's so rich to me to feel like you're working really hard and something. Yeah, it's just gonna be so good. So that's my and yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I feel like Angel's aesthetic of movement is just like it sits so comfortably in my body. Like I enjoy the feeling of it, and like even like being in rehearsal, like finding that community sense, like as a collective, like we really like dig into it, and just the way that we're very comfortable in rehearsal, like we can chat like in between, we can have a laugh, we can have a cry, like it makes it even more special in the way that we take on the movement. And I think although like the movement is so challenging, like you might go from laying out your leg from one movement into turning 8 times and then holding a penche and holding it for 8 counts and then moving on to a groove. Like it's very physically challenging, but I like have so much trust in the process and everyone in it that it's gonna turn out beautiful. And like we just want to invite I think like we just really want to invite the audience to like really feel it and like take it with them and explore that in their own lives as well. So I think like the movement, it feels great, and I want that to be communicated to everyone else as well, and I think they'll see that.
We basically want everybody to come to the club with us
Yeah.
after the show. Like, get up your seats and let's dance.
And engage.
Let's dance.
Engage with the body.
Vamos
Yeah.
a bailar.
Shall we dance? Yeah.
Sí.
We shall.
Kelsey, do you want to add anything
No,
to
just
that?
like the first thing that happens, like in the room, in the space, is like Angel will come up and give you like a huge hug. Like it really just like is like very important. I think because like what you were saying about like showing up and feeling like the piece that you created was like about how you felt maybe insecure about who you are and like coming out and making it like it's so easy to come into a space feeling that, you know, like a new space, like, and immediately I can feel that you want to break that down. You want people to feel like, okay, if you can't do that move, like, let's move on. Or like, if you're feeling like tired, like, let's do something else. And it's very appreciated. And like, you can feel it in the room and the energy in that way for sure. I think like also something that I'm really excited for is like, I tend to look at like rehearsal processes as like kind of like role play or like fantasy play or like and parts of myself that like I generally don't get to explore like in real life, and like a really exciting part of that is like my sensuality, I think, in this piece especially. I mean, I went to the club like in college and stuff, but like, you know, get a little bit older. We're like
Older.
Yeah, no, but I feel like it's still in me, you know, like it never really like dies, and it's
Still in me too.
Yeah, of course, it's in all of us. Yeah, 100%. And it's so nice to like, yeah, be able to have a space to explore that, and also like get to share that because, yeah, movement for me is like so important, like a refuge for like exploration. And I think that's how it is in the club. Like people go to the club to like fucking let loose and like be who they are and enjoy the process. And yeah, and I think hopefully that's reflected on this stage. Yeah, we're gonna have fun.
Yeah. Also, the club scene. I don't know if I can add. You know, like the club scene. I don't know. Maybe the 90s, 80s. It was like go like, especially in gay space or gay community. It was go to refuge from the outside. So it's like go together and be safe and be who you are. And also, I need to add something that is really nice for Angel's process is, you know, like we came tired sometimes, or we do our things and dance out of this project. So sometimes we are like, oh, my back, or my knee, or my shoulder, whatever. And Angel is always like, take it slow, or even if you can, just don't do it, you know. So it's something that I appreciate. Like, it's not feeling that pressure. Oh, if I don't do this, or if I don't achieve this today, I'm gonna get caught. Exactly. So that's yeah. So it's never like that. So he trusts in us, and he knows what we can do. And when we came with this, like, wow, today I cannot do this leg very high. So it's like, don't worry. So it's something that I really appreciate it. So it's really gentle with the body, even if it's really, really challenge. So, but it's a good challenge.
A gentle challenge.
Yeah.
I appreciated the way that you shared about the space, the nightclub as a space. A friend, a colleague of mine theorizes this idea of nightscape, right? Because we bring nightlife, night culture onto the daytime. And I just loved hearing how you were recreating that feeling in the rehearsal, in the studio, like right here, right? Like it starts here, and it doesn't have to end, or you know, in the morning. But the ways in which we relate to each other, and the ways in which we use our bodies to relate to others without words. And I think that's very powerful. And I think that's something that I look forward to seeing with such a diverse cast, Angel. And, you know, it also made me think about how different the nightclub as a space is from these other pieces you've choreographed. Thinking of Café con Pan, and it felt comfy, and the coziness, that's the word I was looking for. The coziness of a living room, right?
Oh, we're going from room to
Morgan.
room.
And it wasn't about the smell of Café con Pan, but they were like, right? And so that made it very homey, again, cozy, right? And in another piece you've done with Gabriel, that is this more abstract space of containment, right?
Containment. That was very,
That was like, you felt restrained, but the politics and the affects associated with the night space, with the nightclub, are different, and I'm excited I'm excited to see, but also if you could elaborate more about like the coming together because we are packed at the club, you know?
We
I
are
mean,
packed.
Pride is around the corner. Is going to be in June, right? So it's very apropos that we're celebrating queerness,
And
we're
pride.
celebrating belonging, right?
Sí.
And it's about literally it's about our bodies coming together
Yeah.
and how they communicate different things and create community in different ways. So tell me, I'm very interested in this, like how you transmitted that to the dancers, and then hearing for you how you experience it. Like, okay, we're gonna experience freedom with openness versus like we're gonna be constrained. And I'm not sure how that's going to manifest, but I'm
Sí.
excited. So,
I think the first thing that comes to mind is I think Kelsey touched on it a little bit on the role play or fantasy type of aspect in it. When I work, when I create a work, I want to make sure that the story makes sense in a way. So it's not just like leaving people with a bunch of questions like, what was that? And it's very important for me to have characters and so Kelsey, for example, we start with Kelsey is one of our new members. So Kelsey comes into the dance, which like she's shy, she's very timid, but she's very strong and powerful. And then she slowly gets comfortable with the friend group that we already have, and then she now opens up to her being sensual. Yeah, being sensual and fierce and full of energy. And so I think like at least some people have some characters that they can follow, and that helps them open up. Like I told Elvis, like I want him to be like la gatita, you know, like feisty, you know, feisty. And so like I feel like there are some ways, some characters that help you tell a story, and so for everybody else, it's like so we divided it into two acts, although it's just one full piece, just for the sake of the story. And so we basically essentially go from hanging out and pre-gaming into the club, and so the first part is how we come together as friends, and then how that allows us to be more comfortable with each other to then be able to go out and experience a different type of vibe, like getting drunk and getting
loose.
shimmy shimmy loose
Shimmy,
and
shimmy loose.
warm. Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
So, can we ask out of curiosity if you two have characters? Elvis and Morgan, or
I don't.
I mean, no, like a name,
yeah.
but like I think, like because we are really silly sometimes. We speak a lot, and like we are like a lot of times like I don't know, 90% like movement, and the other 10% is we're gonna be talking, chatty. So, but I feel like that chatty moment when we get into who I am in this piece, or we start like naming, you're the gatita, or you have this character of like, so like that gives you like an idea, or you start playing more with yourself, and you start bringing your own, like, so I think by little, like Angel let us be in that sense, and everyone has this nice version, or this like
yes.
person that is not shy, right? Everyone has. So I think it's just a moment to show and feel free. And yeah, that's really nice.
I also want to add on that I think it's very cool how they all bring in their different personalities. So like, for example, Kelsey, I kind of like took it upon from her, and I was like, I see you as this shy person, but you are so powerful, and like when you truly get to know her, like this girl is the girl, and so I something that Elvis said, like, yes, like it's really cool that they all get to explore their own identities in this, because that's how it is in real life. Sorry.
No, you're good. So,
So I'm 20. So I've never been to a club or like out to the bars or anything. So
Okay.
I feel
It's an
Young
imagined experience.
yeah.
yes, but I feel like really in touch with like my sensual side, especially through dance. Like I feel
Insane.
home in my dancing. Like so like I guess without that like exposure to that, I guess that's been a little bit like harder to connect to that character side. But I do that, I guess, through the comfort of our rehearsal practices and like through hearing about their experiences. And yeah, I feel there's something else I wanted to say, but I forget.
I might go back to you.
Yeah.
So, some of the things, Angel, that you have explored in your career here over these 4 years as a choreographer, right, in the DMV, have been issues of related to belonging, resilience, immigration, and definitely queerness. But there's also the aspect of cultural memory, right? And whereas this might not be an immediate feature of the work, I still believe that it's going to be part of it. You already mentioned the salsa, but
Oh, sí.
in what other ways is this cultural sort of memory and lived experience as someone from El Salvador choreographing this piece in DC with the largest, Salvadoran diaspora in what it used to be a predominantly African American city, right? And so all this, intersecting history. So tell me about that.
See, we're actually me and Tabby were talking about this, and because it kind of relates into Café con Pan and the story of how us Latinas and Hispanics, we have parties for everything.
Yes,
like
we do.
there's it's a birthday for like a 2-year-old, but no, it's not. It's
Before.
yes, but no. Like it's for the adults, like the party is for the adults. And so culturally, I've always been like, I don't care if you're fucking sad, like get the fuck up and we're gonna go have some tamales and like hang out with your family, And so I think it's I always got it from my family that it's important for you to have a belonging within your family and your friends, and in the sense that you're there and to spend time with each other. And that's something that comes from, in Latin America, we're so used to hanging out, and even like for when someone passes away, like we're gonna have that as a celebration, and here it's also the same. Like a lot of us, we hang out and we go party. And what else was I gonna say?
And that's good. And I wanted to, yeah.
It came back to my mind. I was relating to the salsa, and
Because you're a salsa
see, so I
instructor, dancer, choreographer.
My very first style of dance that I learned was salsa, bachata, and merengue, and so it kind of lives in me. I've never let it go. I've noticed it even like sometimes because it's so different than like a normal contemporary dancer. Like my arms always move, my fingers and my wrists always move different, and even like my chest and my shoulders and my hips. And so a lot of times when I move, like even with solo work, and I see it, I'm like, oh, that looks different, and I've come to a conclusion that that's who I am, and it comes from the training that I have. And so I always try to include that in my work, like bringing salsa onto the table, and merengue. Merengue is so easy, but it focuses more on the hips than it does anything else. And so bringing that culture from salsa, it's important to me because it lives in me, basically.
It's not lost on me about to framing in a way the politics of joy, right? And how important such politics are right now in this moment, right? Yes, you're going to perform. We're going to experience this within the context of pride in a moment when things are politically charged, when the communities to which some of us belong are being, attacked or persecuted or harassed or policed, especially police movement is policed. And so I think it's important for our audience to think about, and this is also something another colleague who's also a contemporary dancer, Juan Manuel Aldape, invited us to think about. He calls it legal kinesthesia. We professors always come up with these terms, but it's basically the way in which, our movements are impacted or constrained by the legal frameworks, right? So I think that, your movement, the celebration of your movement and that freedom, therefore acquires these political valences, right? Even though it might be just joy, and not to say that joy always has to be political, because sometimes it's very intimate in that sense. But at the same time, this movement is taking place within a very particular context, right? And so I wanted to hear how does that impact your own movement? If you thought about it, if you haven't, that's also fine. But you yourselves occupy this space in very specific ways, and we're gonna see your own bodies kind of inhabit that space in different ways. I wanted to say, like, we carry histories, our bodies carry histories and lived experiences, so we're gonna see that. And I'm not framing the question well, but it's just basically about the politics of joy and the politics of the movement within this context. What is it like for you in such an important piece like Shall We Dance? Literally is in the title, Shall We Dance? As a response, right?
Yeah. I think speaking of, like, I don't know, today's political climate change also pushes me, the piece to want to be more joyous. And I've come to an understanding that a person like me, a person of color from an immigrant background, they don't want them here. And so also a person like me, resilient and very pushing forward. I'm not gonna stop, and I'm going to want to do more.
Yes.
And I also have ADHD, so so I'm always like, no, like I'm going to perceive and do better, and maybe even more than what you think. And so bringing joy into today's political climate change was very important to me, because we are pushed to being basically stabbed in the back every day, and it's not something that we deserve. We deserve to have fun, and and so that's my small input.
What about you as answers? Kelsey, yes. Oh.
We've had like very intimate conversations about their experiences, and it's super incredible. First of all, like Angel, just like as a human being, how confident and strong and maybe stubborn in like a good way, like you are with the world and like who you want to be. And that like deeply affects the process, like being in a space where like kind of like, fuck all this bullshit. Like, I'm going to make this dance. Watch me be here. Watch me live and dance and move. And that's, joy and active resistance, whatever. But I think there was like a while ago, I was a part of some Q&A and someone asked like, is this political? Like, is this piece political? And I thought it was like such an interesting question, because I was like, yeah, like this is like, our bodies are political. Like the way we show up, the way you see is political. Like, yeah, in some ways, like the club is definitely political, but like just like you or I or anyone standing on this stage, like we hold, like you said, these histories and these stories that like is so deeply personal and affected by the world all around us all the time. And especially what's happening now with you two and all of us, like it's crazy. And it's so important to have this. And like, I just feel so honored to be a part of something like this. And yeah, when you approached me to come do this, I was like, you want me? The white girl? You want me, this white girl?
Yes, girl, you.
Yeah.
Yes, you, girl.
But
Look
like,
again. Look again.
how beautiful and how honored, because you're a force. So.
What you got, Queen?
Well, no, to me, like, Kelsey was telling that this Q&A were this question, right? I remember that night. And yes, a body is really political. And also the fact, like, like we are Latinos having fun, making dance. And also I'm a queer person. Like everything that they don't want, I'm doing it. And I'm expressing my queerness in this process more than before, like I feel like more queer than like the music, the style, like so like everything that they don't want to see, I'm exploring it, and like so it's very political in that sense to me that I'm able to express as a gay person and like in this queer environment. So yes, it is political in that sense to me, and I'm so glad that I'm allowed to do this in this city and with all these things are happening right now.
I think it's important to, well, Afro-Indigenous feminisms will always, and saying that makes me feel like older, which is true. I'm older than you all, but there recently, and this is something within my own work and my own creative work, is something that I've thought about. Afro-Indigenous feminisms will have us, you know, will remind us of the importance of being able to resist, confront and respond, not with sick bodies, not with unhappy, sad bodies, but we need this. We need this gorgeousness. We need this energy. We need you, young, youthful, with your ideas and desires for a better world in which more of us, like at the club, can be their own, can experience freedom, can experience a community. And I think it's so important to be able to have spaces where we can just be. And it sounds like you've been able to sort of crystallize that, not only in the dance studio, but, once we see it. So I guess one last question I would have for you is, what would you want the audience, and I know that you've already touched on different themes, but if you were to share with our audience one thing to look forward to, I'm just coming up with another question because in a way you've been answering, before joining this, I'm rambling here. But yeah, before the experience of going through this process, right? That's something that I wanted to ask you. But you've been answering throughout the entire interview, was something that it changed, and I think you just answered that with your previous responses. But the question will be, what's the one thing that you want our audience to take away for you as you're, thinking about your own unique individual experience as part of this collective, right? So think about your bestie. What would you tell your bestie? You gotta come see us because.
Oh, okay. Well, I definitely think that the audience can find some joy into what they are seeing, and I think there's a lot of different cool movements that they are working really hard on. Like, it's a challenge for me to like, because I just be throwing my body around, and I'm like, how can I teach this now? And so then when I see them actually technically execute it, I'm like, whoa, you guys should come see this. Come see these 4 back rolls into a kip up, into a holding the leg. And so I would say, expect a lot of athleticism, energy, and joy.
Yes, I can see that. What about you, Alex?
Well, I think you need to go because you're gonna see a lot of, like you're just not gonna see people clubbing, so you're gonna see professional dancers clubbing. So that kicks different.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be so much energy. Even me inside of the piece, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm ready. We are ready. So, but it's so much energy that is building up that I'm just like, wow, like you cannot miss that. So definitely.
It's going to be an explosion. Okay.
Yeah, I think like emphasis on joy. Like, you're going to feel changed after watching. You're going to feel like you want to join the party, you want to join the fun. Like, there's no reason not to be there.
Okay.
So, unless you're busy, but I mean, make time because it's really important. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Like, that you are a part of this. Like, what we're making here, you are a part of. Like, we are making this for all of us. Like, come
Very
join our
important.
party.
It's very important. Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you perform. So tell us when and where, Angel.
Oh,
Take it
wow.
away.
Well, be excited. See us perform on June 13th at Atlas Performing Arts Centers at Lang Theater at 4 p.m. Maybe 6 p.m. club time. 6 p.m. sounds crazy.
That's my idea.
But yes.
So Saturday, June 13, 4 p.m. at Atlas. Come and dance with us. ¿Vamos a bailar? That was lovely, you guys. You guys are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yay.